Hello and welcome to another episode of Connecting with Kinetic. I'm your host, Jake, and today I'm joined by Lucas, Head of Research at IntoTheBlock, a financial services platform that gives its users intelligent access to DeFi. How are you, Lucas?
Nice to meet you, Jake, and thanks for having me. Doing well here. It's pretty rainy day here in Miami, but other than that, things are going well.
Well, I'm glad that. So you're from Florida. You're a Florida man.
Yeah, I'm Venezuelan actually, but based in Miami for the past 4.5 years or so.
I grew up in Florida in Naples. If you've been there, it's where old people go to die.
Yeah. We're happy old people with money go to die. Very nice place.
Yeah, not so great for childhood. Not so great
for young people. Very different, I can imagine.
Yeah, lots of canes being shook at me. Lots of get off my lawns.
Yeah.
But yeah, Miami is beautiful.
Where are you based now?
Oh, well, now I'm in North Carolina. It's boring. It's a very boring place. If you just imagined an American town, that's where I live. We've got grocery stores. We have really bad food, really bad cuisine, and it's also very expensive.
Can't wait to visit.
Yeah, I always recommend it to everybody. There's trees. That's good.
Yeah. I guess if you like nature, it sounds more of a vibe.
Yeah, I mean the West Coast has a lot better, more interesting nature, but we do have trees. I've seen a cloud or two. The weather is very normal, but maybe I'm getting a little bit off track. But so how long have you been working at IntoTheBlock, and what does a head of research do?
Yeah. So it's been 4.5 years or so. So late 2019, I joined IntoTheBlock as the first analyst at the company. I was their 10th employee or so at the time. And so initially, we're still working on the whole operation, trying to get product market fit. And it's really evolved my role at the company over the past 4 years. So first, we were focused on on-chain data. So we did a lot of, my role was about doing a lot of analysis on what type of data was relevant, what assets it was relevant to support. And we then had a B2B2C model where we worked with a lot of companies that distributed our data. That did well. We have still a decent amount of partners, but many of us were deeply involved in DeFi early on. And so we saw the opportunity to build an intelligent layer similar to Yearn Finance, like a yield aggregator, but that's institutionally oriented. And by that, what we mean is, there's no commingling of funds. Each client has access to their own contract. There's no other counterparty risk involved. And there is a layer of risk management built in. So that's our main business vertical at the moment. It's grown to be quite one of the largest, if not the largest, yield aggregator. And we're, allocating capital across 15 plus chains, 20, 30 protocols. And within my role, I lead the research team with, a crew of crypto natives looking at DeFi 24/7. We're all very curious, looking to learn of the new opportunities, what's the new tech that will drive things forward. And so we're very deep into early ecosystems showing potential, in Eigenlayer and risk taking in general. We've been very involved. And more recently with Flare, we're doing a lot of collaboration with them as well, including with Kinetic, of course.
What, Kinetic? Oh, we don't usually talk about Kinetic on here, but I might have a question for you about it later. So how long have you guys been involved with Flare? In what capacity?
Yeah, so for the past few months, we've talked with Flare. I think it was a ongoing discussion because based on the success of our institutional product, allocating capital. We've spun off what we call like a liquidity bootstrapping services, like subdivision, I guess. And that helps ecosystems and protocols attract liquidity, and building a cohesive strategy around that. So there is, more than just giving out incentives. It's really about, getting the right partnerships in place, making sure that it's easy to bridge in and out, and also being able to attract institutional capital. So we help, based on our experience, multiple entities such as Flare, get a cohesive plan of action and how to distribute that. And we're part now of the Flare Emission Committee, which is a public committee that essentially allocates the current incentive program and decides the protocols, how to allocate them. And it's sort of this iterative approach to define what's the best path to get towards, building a massive ecosystem that Flare aims to build.
So this is completely off topic, but I saw on your LinkedIn that you used to be an ambassador for Hedera. What was that like?
Yeah, so I was graduating university, and even before that, I was like research assistant in my university in the blockchain lab that they had there. So I was quite eager to get in crypto, but I graduated in December 2017, which was like the Pico top. And right after, as I started looking for jobs, crypto jobs like kind of disappeared. And I was in Vancouver, Canada back then. So I still found like a pretty solid job doing working business development in a food delivery company. Very different, but I knew I wanted to do tech. And as I started and began to get more confident in my role, I thought, I wanted to also do something part-time that was crypto centric. And so going to meetups in the city, I met with the Hedera Hashgraph team, and they had a pretty, especially at the time, it was like an outstanding technology. I thought it was quite interesting. And at the time, it was basically just Bitcoin, and Ethereum was kind of dead, like it was doing a bit better, but this was in 2018 or so. I read into the technology, the white paper, and saw that there could be a potential path for like a multi-chain environment, which right now it's like more consensus, but back then it really wasn't. And they had a lot of backing and very reputable people behind that. And so part-time, I essentially hosted meetups for them and like participated in community discussions and organized that. So it was good because it allowed me to get very technical into like infrastructure side of distributed ledger technology. And, I'm grateful for that opportunity. Though, of course, at the moment, I'm not like related to them or involved with Hedera in any shape or form.
Sure. I mean, do you still keep tabs on it, or is it kind of like in the past?
Not really. I think they've gone too much for the top-down approach, where they essentially focus on, we have to make some of the biggest companies in our committee, and that will drive legitimacy, which I think is a reasonable approach. And, I sort of gravitated towards it because of that. But it doesn't help attract builders, or at least not many that I've seen. So the number of projects there, I haven't seen any standout projects building on Hedera. And I focus these days mostly on the app layer and DeFi in particular. So yeah, I've been like a little underwhelmed with how it turned out. But periodically we revisit all of the ecosystems, that are showing some traction. And yeah, it used to be one of the largest, like back in 2021, at least market cap wise and name, it did have a lot of, brand recognition.
Well, say you're not alone as far as your take. It is accurate. And, right now what's going on is basically the community over there is screaming that constantly. But they're very top down, as you say, so they're slow to change, which is they are trying to pretend that they're not a startup and they're already a corporate company. A little off topic, but I thought it was interesting. And it's always things, it's not that long ago, but things really do, our perception of what this space is changes pretty drastically over the course of a few years. Because, I was similar. Like, before I understood what DeFi was, before I really got, into it as a participant, and then later as like a project person, I was like, is that really? It's just moving money around at the end of the day, right? Forgetting that that's the core thing that makes crypto interesting, is that it's a better way to move money around.
Yeah, it's definitely a core use case. And they focus like too much. I think a lot of the top-down chains, like also the IBM efforts that they had like a permission chain, focused a lot on supply chain and validating taxes in a transparent way. And those were more skeuomorphic, like copying what's the existing technology but putting it on chain. And the benefits weren't as clear, and the builders it attracted were, not the best, to be honest. So in DeFi, where you do see an order of magnitude better technology in terms of settlement, in terms of transaction costs, I'm not surprised we've seen a lot more growth and an ecosystem develop around that.
Yeah, it's interesting the way that Flare is handling it, right? Which is they're kind of using where they are as a big opportunity to kind of be ready, right? Be ready for an explosion, get all the right people in the right places, and it's going to be interesting seeing how this unfolds, in comparison to other ecosystems. Speaking about a topic that we try not to go into on this show, I did hear you guys might be working with Kinetic. Are these rumors true?
Yeah, so the rumors are true. We'll be working with Kinetic in two fronts. So one is our DeFi risk radar product. So similar to the other liquidity bootstrapping product, based on the success of our institutional product, we've gotten a lot of clients ask how we manage risk. And this 2 years ago or so, we began talking to protocols for this protocol. I'll share the link in case you want to add it into the notes. We just call the risk radar product. And the idea is to provide a transparent overview of economic risks into DeFi protocols. And we believe this is key for anyone in the space, but in particular, those looking to allocate capital to the space, to review these and get a transparent overview of that. At the end of the day, it's one of the benefits of blockchain that you can extract all of this data. Though, of course, it's very time consuming to build this data. So since we're experts in this, we realized, hey, let's partner with some of the top protocols, the ones that show potential, and have these metrics available for them so that their community and potential capital allocators can have a look and build that confidence. And in 2022, when we began doing this product, it became pretty clear that risk management was going to be key if we wanted to see DeFi surpass, the 200 billion or so that we reached in 2021. So we started that, and we've partnered with protocols like Aave, Athena, Curve, multiple others, and many more to come, including Kinetic. That's the main avenue. We're partnering with them. And the second is we'll also be adding them to our institutional product, so our institutional clients get access to deploy capital in Kinetic.
So are we going to get some dashboards?
Dashboards are coming. Yeah. I think they're still a couple of months away, because it was recently agreed, the terms. But yeah, it should be coming soon. And the team behind Kinetic, we've partnered with them on Banky before that, and a couple other lending protocols. So we have a very solid relationship.
Yeah, Rome Blockchain Labs.
Yes.
Long name, but good people.
Yeah, great people.
So is there a reason IntoTheBlock has no spaces between the separate words?
It's a question for our marketing department. I didn't come up with a name.
Okay, well, it does help me remember it for whatever reason. So maybe it was a big
Yeah.
brain move.
We say ITB internally.
ITB,
well.
yeah. I mean, it's only one syllable longer than ITB. So I guess you're saving a little time.
Yeah. Might be more syllables, but a lot faster when it's just three.
Certainly, typing
letters.
wise, you're saving time.
Yes.
Which is the most important thing, I'd say. When we get down to it, that's really, we love our acronyms in crypto. We love our acronyms.
Too many of them.
Oh yeah, it's they should make a whole dictionary. That's something that a use case I'd like to see is, because you have like corporate dictionaries. We need one for crypto, for DeFi dictionaries for acronyms. I would use that every day. Let's talk about the future. Is there anything, I mean, we talked about, dashboards, which is probably the most exciting thing for people. People love a good dashboard. I mean, jokes aside, people love a good dashboard. But besides that, and kind of IntoTheBlock in general, are there things that you're cooking on in the future, you're working on, any kind of big initiatives coming up?
Yeah, so we're very focused on bringing the next wave of institutions to DeFi. And right now it's still mostly crypto native institutions. Believe it or not, there's still plenty of companies that, have barely used DeFi, but have, billions in their treasuries, or like just Bitcoin sitting out there doing nothing. So that's like the more lower hanging fruit, is to help attract those existing crypto holders, bring them on chain to use the ecosystem. And it's a symbiotic relationship, like between them working with the ecosystem, also grows the ecosystem, which should help increase the prices of their own investments. That's like the first step, and we're doing this across the ecosystem with some of the 30 plus largest clients. And eventually, I think the goal is to also attract entities outside of crypto. There is a lot of work to be done to, this is no surprise to anyone, but to make things easier to use for people outside of crypto. So we're trying to, de-risk it. That's one. I think we're playing a role for the industry in that way. But I think there also needs to be a lot of work on user friendliness and education. And that's like something we do as a whole, like not just IntoTheBlock. But yeah, we're aiming towards that to help grow DeFi. We're super long DeFi, and we're launching all sorts of vaults with protocols and strategies that each time get more battle tested. So I think we have very solid footing, and right now it's building better tools around it and getting a broader reach inside and outside of crypto more so over time.
Speaking of education, is there a good place to learn more about IntoTheBlock? You did share a link, which is defirisk.intottheblock.com. But is there other places people should go to learn more about you guys?
Probably our Twitter would be a good place to follow us. I think we're about to hit 60K followers, so decently large. Not the largest, but it's pretty solid. And our marketing guy's on vacation, so I told him maybe I can help us get 60K followers while he's off.
Allowed to go on vacation?
Yes, believe it or not.
You don't have your marketing guy chained to his desk?
We have our intern now in charge, like
good.
Crypto culture tends to do.
But he's chained. Okay, good. That's, otherwise I wouldn't think that you guys were very professional. Somebody's got to be chained.
Yeah. Someone, we rotate on the clock. But yeah, that's probably the best place. We also, for analytics app, that's more B2C. We also have app.intotheblock.com. I don't think, we don't support Flare at the moment, but we do support 1,000 crypto assets. So most of them, we'll have to try to push Flare to get them onboarded. So if the community is hearing this, feel free to ask them if they want Flare onboarded as an asset.
Yeah, bother Flare more. Do it. Like just they love it. Just maybe yell at them about it. Maybe maybe have a video of you screaming at them. They like it. It keeps them strong, I think. So we've got app.intothe.block.com. We've got DeFiRisk.IntoTheBlock, and we've got the Twitter handle, which is what?
Just IntoTheBlock.
Oh, nice. Ours has an underscore. It's, I think there's like an S that was not necessary. We're definitely not as clean as that.
I guess it's the good thing with a longer name. You can get away with that.
True. Well, it's been wonderful having you. I will end with one question, just because I have you here. Everybody wants, obviously, more institutions to enter our space, enter DeFi. Based on, I'm not tying you to this, I'm not holding you to this, but based on your experience, do you have a general year window for when you think that kind of the big boys are going to enter the pool?
Depends who you consider the big boys, right? So the hedge funds are largely here. Many of them are getting exposure to DeFi products already, even though it's not well known. But we know some hedge funds that are interacting with DeFi these days that are, in the billions and tens of billions of assets. But if you talk about the banks, that's a whole nother question. I think there will be a few, outside of ETFs that will actually use on-chain products. I think probably in through 2 or 3 years. What I'm more bullish on, to be honest, I know we tend to say institutions are coming constantly in crypto, but I'm more bullish on the existing protocols and some new ones disrupting the banks. Aave is a much better protocol, a much better product than Bank of America, really, if you want to send money, if you want to earn on your money. And I think soon you'll be able to borrow and spend it very quickly. So what I'm looking forward to the most, and what I think will happen eventually, is a lot of these DeFi apps will start getting market share from traditional banks, either them directly or being the back end of a fintech app that just uses them for liquidity or earning yield on your assets. And one news that, by the way, left me quite bullish that I saw last week is that Apple, for Apple Pay, they're outsourcing the capacity for anyone to be supported in Apple Pay. And so now Jerry Malaire from Circle said USDC is coming to Apple Pay soon. And I think that will really make it, tie the real world and the crypto world a lot more. Because right now, if you want to spend your stable coins, especially being in the US, you need to go to your centralized exchange, sell your crypto for dollars, send those dollars to a bank account, and it takes 2-3 days, which is ridiculous. So once you're able to spend it more easily and seamlessly, I think we should be able to earn our salaries in crypto in short time and get paid by the minute instead of bi-weekly. And that will help rise the existing DeFi applications and be a lot more competitive. And yeah, I think the traditional institutions will begin struggling in 2 or 3 years with that.
Good, because, I don't think I'm having a contrarian opinion when I say that the banks are not managing the money well.
Yes. Not just not managing it well, but not giving a good experience to their clients, no transparency, discrimination in many cases. So yeah, it's why I'm here long term. So I'm all for disrupting them rather than bringing them on chain.
Oh yeah, no, that's really exciting, and it's a good thing to bring up. Yeah, you're definitely right that once we can actually very directly use stable coins as dollars, that's gonna there's gonna be a explosion as far as wait a minute. Wait
For
a
sure.
minute.
Because if you think about it, it's very different how someone in the US uses their dollars to how someone in the third world uses dollars. So stablecoins in Venezuela, as I mentioned, stablecoins in Venezuela are used like a savings mechanism because it keeps your store of value, like it retains value a lot better than the bolivares that have hyperinflation, infamously. So in the third world, we're getting some stablecoin adoption because it preserves your wealth. But in here, you don't have that problem, right? So I think once it becomes a better medium of exchange and credit card fees are like 3%, versus if you pay with stable coins, the fees could be 0.05% or even less, depending on the transaction size. So we're getting there. I think, we've all been waiting for this, and it just takes time. Building takes time, but the infrastructure has gotten a lot better. So hopefully soon we'll be there.
Well, I mean, I gotta say, you're making me bullish again. I did see the number went down, and I was thinking, oh, well, the number is pretty much everything. It must be over. But of course, we keep going. We keep going. We can't only rely on market performance to tell us the validity of a technology. So yeah, great having you on. Great chat. I hope to have you on again at some point again soon. I mean, this has been great. If people need to, reach out to you personally with questions, is there a place that they can go?
Yeah, also my Twitter. It's just my name. I'll drop it since my last name is a bit complex. It's Galician from Spain. So just Lucas Outumuro on Twitter. Also the good thing of having a uncommon last name.
Oh yeah, well, my last name's Hunsbusher, so I understand you there.
I got my name and handle matching. But yeah, it's been awesome. Thank you, Jake, for having me. Glad to end it in a positive note. And yeah, optimistic for Flare and crypto in general.
All right. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good one.